President Trump is calling tomorrow Liberation Day as he expands his trade war with new tariffs. It's still not clear which countries will be impacted or when the new levies will go into effect. CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand has the very latest from the White House. So the president's expected to announce these tariffs and specifically which countries, but are we hearing anything as far as a bit of a preview as to when they will be rolled out?
Vlad, we don't have many details about how exactly this is going to work or details when this big announcement will come other than likely tomorrow. But the president himself yesterday, previewing what he calls Liberation Day, said that some of these reciprocal tariffs could be lower or even, in his words, substantially lower than what those countries impose on U.S. goods. So that's a bit of new information that we received. Now, when pressed, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that the administration's team of trade advisors has been presenting the president with individual plans and that ultimately this will be his decision to make. So we are still eagerly awaiting those details. And as you mentioned, we don't have a list of the exact countries or figures, but the president in earlier statements said that this will impact all countries.
So you spoke to some U.S. business owners about how these tariffs might impact their customers. What did they tell you?
Yeah, Vlad, the lack of clarity around how this is all going to play out is really contributing to business owners' anxiety about how this will impact their bottom line, what they are going to potentially have to pass along to the consumer. I checked in with a longtime restaurant owner in Northern Virginia, Tony Stafford of Ford's Fish Shack, and he says around 40% of his seafood comes from Canada, representing around $1.5 million a year that he spends on seafood, buying seafood from out of the United States. So he's particularly worried about these tariffs, these reciprocal tariffs, and this comes as restaurants are still trying to recover from other events over the past several years. Take a listen to some of our conversation.
The big thing for uncertainty for small business owners is the last 5 years has just been a roller coaster, and it looks like in the near future we're going to stay on that roller coaster. Just when we thought we'd kind of get some stability, we're still in a little roller coaster period, and we're looking at ways to save costs. We're looking, the amount of people coming back to work in restaurants. That's great. That's exciting. We've been staffed first time in a long time, but now we're having to work on pricing and supply.
And he said the bottom line is he's not going to be able to absorb the added costs of these tariffs, so that customers can likely expect to face some higher prices, especially as he tries to now find maybe more U.S.-based suppliers. But he cautions that that could take time. There could be this big transition period, and it's still very uncertain how long that lasts or ultimately how that impacts his business, Vlad.
All right. In the midst of all these anticipated tariffs, we also hear there are cuts to human health services, health and human services, rather. Those have begun. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we knew from last week that these were coming, but the new development today is that notices about the reduction in force have begun to be mailed out, according to multiple health officials speaking to CBS News. And some reported, showing up to work and not having their badges work, according to our health and health policy reporter, Alex Tin. So last week, we reported that some 10,000 full-time employees would be laid off. That's in addition to vacancies that aren't going to be filled. HHS previewed that they wanted to reduce staff by about 25%. Today, really, we are beginning to get a sense of which exact jobs are being impacted, where the cuts are coming, details still coming out. But Alex reports that communication staffs at several agencies were particularly hard hit, with entire teams, for instance, at the CDC and FDA being severely impacted or gutted. So many more details to come. But today is when we're beginning to learn the exact jobs that are being eliminated.
All right. Natalie Brand for us, reporting from the White House this morning. Thanks, Natalie.